It's the ML Sports Platter here, all over the major platforms. Download, subscribe, rate, and review. St. Bonaventure Athletics bringing it to you. We bring him in, my good pal Jim Crowley, the head coach for the women's basketball team at St. Bonaventure. You know, Jim, every year it sneaks up faster and faster. It's great to see you.
Thanks. Yeah, it does. And we start earlier and earlier. So it's, even before October, you're into practice now. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
No doubt. How do you like your team this year? And again, like I said, it's kind of going back in time. I had you on so much in college, and now all full circle to get you back on here with me. I'm no spring chicken anymore. But how do you like your team? I mean, it's just the basic question, right, to ask. And I know practice is hot and heavy, and I think you guys have a lot of great players.
Yeah, I like our group a lot. We got to go through some growing pains. We got 9 new players, 6 of them freshmen. We've got to be able to handle some of the early physicality. Thank God we still got Coach Fisk in the weight room getting it done for us, because with that many young players, and everybody's older now with the transfer portal. So, I just think we've got to just go through it, and they've got to learn our system, and our system's one that takes a while to really thrive in. So we're asking them to do it quickly. So, I've got to be kind of demandingly patient, but they're reacting pretty well to that. And it's a good group. Since
I've been at Bonaventure, which was a million years ago, how do you think the A10 has changed? I know it's easy to portal NIL in the world, all the balls in the air now, but from a competition standpoint, adjusting, you boomerang back into the conference, right? So how has it changed, evolved, developed?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a few different teams. I probably in her day there was Xavier and there was Temple and there was, and it was a different landscape. So those teams were very strong. So I think it's still highly competitive. I think it's still really, really well coached. I think there's a lot of really good players. Just unfortunately, some of those players don't make it all the way through. So good players replace them, but maybe they're not as deep in the system. It's as good a basketball centric league as there is. There's some, as I said, some great coaches, some great rivalries. I've always enjoyed and thought really highly and felt very fortunate to be part of the Atlantic 10.
Is it better now? Is it the same? Have you learned more?
Difference. The answer. I mean, there's always that fallacy of nostalgia, right? I always look back and, oh, that was so good. And that was so tough that sometimes you're not looking right at what it is. And I think it's really good right now. That I would think one of the things that's harder to judge it on a national scale is, the Power 5 teams just don't get into home and homes with A10 teams like they used to. I mean, in the past, when I was here, we had Michigan in a home and home, Michigan State, different folks, Virginia, we had all kinds of different folks like that in home and homes. And that just doesn't, so you could really showcase our league, and we weren't the only ones doing it. So our league could showcase on a national level what they could do. That's, while you're still able to play those guys, a lot of times it's got to be on a neutral site or just on their home floor. So I think that has impacted our national brand a little bit through no fault of our own. So I don't know how much the coaching or talent has really changed, but the ability to show it off isn't what it once was.
Bonnie's head women's basketball coach, Jim Crowley, our guest here on the ML Sports Platter, brought to you by Byrne Dairy and Stanley Law Offices. And when I was there, obviously you had the Tina Coles and the Courtney Mattingleys and Lindsay Mowers and those kind of players. Do you still stay in touch with all those players from back in the day?
Yeah, a lot of them. Obviously everybody, life goes pretty fast. It gets really busy. Yeah. But it's one of the great things, certainly about having coached this long, is the relationship you have with players. And even if you don't hear from someone in a while, it doesn't take long to catch up. You catch up pretty quickly within all those folks you just mentioned at different times over the last number of years. We've crossed paths, and instantly you're right back to really good memories. And so it is a special thing about our place. I think it's a special thing about having a connection to a program that it goes back a ways, is that not only can you stay connected, but it can help the current players feel it which I think Bonaventure does better than anybody.
Yeah, you're a boomerang, and there's another boomerang that came back home as well recently. His name is Woj. What's it been like having him? And did you hear any inklings leading into it? I know he was doing some stuff with the NIL portal, but many people, including myself, were taken aback by the move. And obviously, I think it's a great thing. It's going to spill over into the other programs, including you guys. But pretty amazing moment to have Adrian back.
Yeah, and he's just such a. I mean, he embodies Bonaventure, right? Like the everything that we try to explain to people who don't know. Now they know a little bit more. Like, oh my gosh, this guy would give up all this to come back to Bonaventure, and I think it obviously says a lot about who he is, and his wife Amy, who's an alum, and a number of her family members are alums. I've been fortunate to be able to call Woj a friend for a long time. When I was making this decision to come back, he was a confidant of mine during that time, as well as during a lot of times in my professional career. So to know he was coming back, and just to have him in his community, just watching him this week, and it's not often celebrities roll around our campus, and he is clearly a celebrity, and he handles it with such grace and such humility, and he just wants to get to work and continue to make. Continue to be. It's a new job. Listen, he was the best at his other job, and that's who he is. He's going to work to be the best at his current job, and we're really lucky to be part of that.
Couple more quick ones to wrap up on your team. Again, specifically here, Jim, and it's been great to catch up with you, getting ready for another campaign. Is there, as the players, come in and out, and I know you try to bring them in and keep them, and culture and team building and all that stuff, the DNA of your team, does it change, offensively, defensively? Do you work in something else because of the players and the portal and the NIL and all that stuff? Or do you say, hey, this is how we do it. We got to get players to how we do it. And that's it.
That's what we're going with. I think that's my strength. And if I'm not playing to my strength, how can I help players play to their strength? So we know how we want to play. We think we have a pretty good feel and know our university, and so who fits both of those. And then we have certain character traits that are, very important to us. And so who fits those? And obviously there has to be a talent level that goes with all that stuff. And, part of being successful for us is going through stuff. And that's what I started with. Like, hey, we're going to be okay, but we got to go through stuff. Yeah. And you decide how much you want to fight for something, and how much you want to fight for the person next to you. And, and the folks that we talked to, we were very clear. This is our vision. You're part of this vision because of these character traits. There's going to be some rough times, but hopefully we'll come out on the other side of that. And, we believe we have a lot of those folks in our program. The next 4 months will tell us, because there's going to be a lot of ups, but there's going to be a lot of downs. And, we've already tried to mimic as many challenging situations as we can to see how people handle them. But, I believe St. Bonaventure, what they do best is develop you in a crucial time in your development as an adult. I think this place is really good at it. I think our program has historically been good at it. So we want people who want to be part of that. And that's the way we're going to roll it.
The player we're going to be talking about at the end of the year who's flying under the radar is who?
It's a great question. I think there's a few of them. And so I'm not going to put that burden. I don't know if it's a burden. I'm not going to put that label on anybody just yet. I think we have a couple folks who have a real chance to get better. I think we have a couple folks who have a real chance to surprise. But the unknown in all this, Mike, is, we can see the ability, we can see, the natural talents, but the real unknown, and you can get an educated guess at it, but the real unknown is the adversity, and obviously the health. But how do you handle the adversity? How do you handle the grind of 3 games in a week, or 2 away games during midterms, or 3 straight days of snow? Like, how do you handle the grind? And that's one of my favorite parts is watching people handle that. We think we've added those, but guessing that is not an exact science.
Come on, though. The recruiting pitch is that it doesn't snow in Olean, right? And it doesn't get cold.
It's not, again, that fallacy of nostalgia. It's not like it used to be.
Yeah.
But listen, I can tell you this: on Christmas Day,
Oh.
I remember last Christmas Day, I went for a run in shorts and a long sleeve shirt. Like
Yeah.
it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was like 60 and sunny.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hey, you know what you're getting here. So there's a lot of good things you can do even when it snows. So
no doubt, St. Bonaventure University's online masters, go get it. 2 year, under 2 years, I should say, in both sports and digital. SBUjournalism.com for more there. And of course, the athletic program rocking and rolling with the fall, rolling into the winter, and this guy getting ready for another season. The Bonnies, the head women's basketball coach of the women's basketball team, is Jim Crowley. For the schedule and the roster and more, visit gobonnies.com. Jim, thanks a million. You've always been there for me. Take care, okay?
I appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for caring about our program and for doing what you do for our university. Thank you.